All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of In the Corners with Reese Savoy and Matt Good from the UVic hockey broadcast team. We're glad to bring you a very exciting weekly roundup of the BCIHL. Wow. Controversial thing, not controversial, but I guess you could say unexpected things happen in the league, in my opinion. I mean, it's just my opinion, though. I mean, definitely the Mariners had a different opinion. Just looking at the results here, because on Saturday, on the 30th of September, the last day of September, the Mariners clashed with the Okanagan into an overtime win, 4-3, which Matt Good is going to have way more details on these games than I do. He went in depth. He put his analyst hat on and he went in depth into the games. And the excitement didn't stop there because they matched up with the 12-0 team of last year, SFU Red Leafs. They match up against them and they take the win in regulation 5-4. Before I get too excited, before I lose my mind, I got to let Matt take the reins and get in depth with the first game, which was that in Nanaimo or was that in the Okanagan?
That one was in Kelowna, Reese. Good to be
Okay.
back with you here in the corners, number 3. Man, I'm fired up for this BCIHL season.
Oh, yeah.
We missed our pals, the Vikes, this week.
We did.
But we're keeping our eyes on the BCIHL. We're cruising around the league. Yeah, that first game with the Lakers and the Mariners. The Mariners we know a little bit about because the Vikes saw them 4 times in the preseason.
Right.
The Lakers take them to overtime, like you said. And,
yes.
The Mariners win that one. And I wasn't able to watch that one, but I did watch the SFU game on Hockey TV. But good job by the Lakers there hanging in with the Mariners. They're coming into the season. They push them to the limit. And, they're looking to maybe clog things up at the top of the leaderboard here in the BCIHL. Right. Nice job by them putting a little heat on the Mariners.
Big time. Yeah. Crazy.
Me and Gigi the dog over here on In the Corners, hanging tough and doing our thing.
Oh, it's just I was shocked. I didn't think this is what the result was going to be. I thought it was going to be tight games for sure. I knew it was going to be competitive. I definitely didn't think the Mariners were a bad team in any way, but I knew that the Okanaga was going to come out flying. I knew they were going to come out good for the first game of the season. I just had that feeling, and clearly a strong game brought them into overtime, but they did. The Mariners just overcame. Didn't someone get 4 goals in that game, or was that the October 1st game?
That was the next game.
Okay. So that's crazy. We'll get into that, but yeah, that is a way to start off your season. I mean, going 2-0 is a good way to do it, but you beat 2 really deep teams, and I think these teams are going to be all fighting for the title of the standings there, fighting for the number 1 spot. UVic competed really closely with the Mariners, which we'll get into later, but just the fact that UVic kind of held up with them makes me really interested in how competitive this BCIHL season is going to be. The standings are looking to be extremely tight, especially how Mariners follow up a hard-fought win with a win against the former champions. I mean, come on. It's looking like a different league. I mean, maybe it could have been just a bad game for SFU, which you'll let me know because you did get a chance to watch that one, but just unexpected scenes.
Yeah, well, we're 2 games in here, and it's definitely like overreaction time.
Yeah.
What does this mean? What did the first 2 results mean for the league? Maybe a lot, maybe not that much, but we'll see as it plays out. Definitely that second game in Burnaby, SFU. SFU outshoots the Mariners 46-21.
Holy.
The Mariners start crawl. And I'll let you a little bit know what happened there, Reese. The Mariners start crawl, and the SFU holds quite a bit of the zone time in the first period, but it's the Palmer. He kind of asserts himself as that this season he's going to be the guy. He
Right.
comes down there. He gets the first 2 goals, 2-0 for the Mariners after the first period. Dunlop, Jones, Morton all pick up apples or
Nice.
helpers in the first period. SFU, their goaltending is a little sluggish. The team is a little sluggish, right? You got to hand it to the Mariners. They go from Nanaimo to all the way to Kelowna, probably by
Yeah.
car, right?
Right.
They drive their car, they go on the ferry, they go down there, and they turn around and come back.
Yeah.
They put in a full weekend,
Wow. Yeah, they
just
definitely
like
did.
just like a prairie kid does to go see a concert. You know, you all hop into the car, you're
Yep.
going down to Regina, you put
Yep.
on your Converse, you get in the mosh pit, you do it all weekend, you know.
And that's
That's what
about
the
it in
Mariners did.
Regina. Yeah. And in
That's what the Mariners
Regina,
did.
yeah. And you know what? In Regina, that's about it. What else you doing?
The
That
SFU,
probably gets old.
they have some returning players. Like they're
Right.
just because they lost the first game, you know, I don't know what that means, but the SFU broadcast team, they were great. I watched the game, listened to them. They're fired up for Jalabert. He got 3 goals in the preseason. He scored the
Right.
winning goal against Anchorage. Remember Reese, that game? They beat the BCAA team, and you were fired up about that.
Yeah.
Jalabert,
Oh,
that's the goal scorer. So do you remember that
right.
player?
Right. Yeah. No, that again, that was also unexpected. A lot of unexpected things happening this season, but add that to the list.
SFU, they got Kara Mischief, Jalabert, Wicks. These are kind of their dudes there. They have some returning players. They lose their first regular season game in a year and a half or whatever it's been in the BCIHL. And the Mariners in the second period of that one jumped out as far ahead as 4-1. Then SFU, they change goalies for the third period. Right. They try to catch up. They pop a few in, but Palmer, he's scoring on a breakaway unassisted, make it 5-2. Jalabert and Jersey Orchard, those are the goal scorers to make it 5-3 and 5-4, but they just run out of time. The Red Leafs, is that what they're called? The SFU team?
Yep, that's right.
They were pouring it on at the end of the game, but they couldn't get the equalizer. That's kind of a rundown of the action. How did that sound to you, Reese?
I mean, just that's a pretty good comeback by SFU, but I mean, just the Mariners piling it on. I don't know. It just completely, especially in light of our predictions last week, makes me have a completely different outlook on the rest of the season. But I thought it was going to be at a balanced, result. I didn't think Mariners were going to go in there and win all 2, but they did. So, I mean, it just tells you look out for them. But looking forward to the future a little bit. Okanagan is the team that played the Mariners, and going off of their performance, if they held them up into overtime, then that means the Vikes are probably going to be getting a pretty good matchup this Friday.
Oh, no doubt. Well, you had your prediction from last week, Reese, that the Red Leafs would get knocked off at some point. It came true in the first week.
Right.
The Red Leafs go 0-for-6 on the power play. So the Mariners were taking penalties in the game, just like against the Vikes. We saw a lot of minor penalties, and the Vikes really they got their power play humming pretty good against the Mariners. Yeah. But the Red Leafs, they couldn't get it going. That was another thing. The shots they're one-sided. So a lot of the things we thought about the Mariners were kind of evident in the game as well.
Right.
And I have a few points from the game. Do you want to hear them now?
Oh, yeah. I think you should get right into it.
Okay. Well, let me just start with one thing that I thought of. Maybe we underrated some of the defensive depth from the Mariners.
Right.
Okay. So these guys are bringing Morton, Danforth, Struss, Longstreet, Archambault, and Beauchamp, maybe more players. Yeah. Okay. But on the last episode, we were talking about the Mariners being a little one-sided, which they are. They got the big guns there, but their defense looked pretty big and strong, even against SFU. So all that time we saw the Vikes trying to get in there on the Mariners, and the Mariners defense was strong against them. Well, it happened to SFU too. So that's something to take note of.
Yeah, that's huge. wow, you know what? When you put it into a bottom a six, a six D pairings for a team, you just remind yourself how productive all of them were. We watched 4 total games. We watched 2, but we got to see 4 total matchups between VIU and UVic, and what we saw was a lot of stars kind of sprinkled into their depth in the D position. Some
Yep.
players were shined more in the first game that we saw, and then some more shined the week after. But when you put it all into that perspective, I remember saying all those names a lot when we were doing commentary. I remember saying all those guys' names between both the games that we did for commentary. So that's surprising. I guess I didn't put it into perspective how much depth they had. So I think that right there might be the reason why they're such a force right now. So wow, interesting.
Yeah, totally. I didn't totally realize that in the games against the Vikes. I
Right.
was kind of more focused on the Vikes. We're trying to learn their players, learn their matchups and their style, not really giving credit to the Mariners defense. Well, while watching the first game with the Red Leafs and the Mariners, I kind of saw more similarities between SFU and the Vikes. They
Oh,
like
okay.
to go into the zone, pass the puck around. They got skill. The Red Leafs, um, they're a playmaker type team, right? They get
Yeah.
the puck, they move around. So
Yeah.
where the Mariners they have muscle on the back end, and they had the breakout speed. Razor was going down there, one of our favorite guys.
Yeah.
And so I just noticed how similar the games looked. Mariners, Vikes, the ones we saw, and Mariners, SFU. So
Right.
for what it's worth, that's a couple things I saw from the game, and a big shout out, of course, to Crawl, the goaltender for the Mariners.
Pretty good performance. I mean,
Yeah,
just looking at the numbers here, right? 46 shots, and he
yes,
lets in what, 4 or
yeah,
3? Yeah, 4. So I mean, come on.
6 power plays. I mean, Crawl, he was the Crawl wall, right?
The wall. Yeah, the wall. Yeah. Fournier. What could it be? What could be Fournier's nickname? I guess we don't know because he hasn't played a regular season game. But
Us.
yeah, well done by Crawl. He definitely stole the show this weekend. Um, but yeah, I think one thing that we got to get into right off the bat, because I'm just too excited not to get into it, is a new segment that you thought of. You cooked it up in that brain of yours, in that Saskatchewan created from the ground grown noggin. So
That's
let's hear
right.
about it. What is it? How does it work? What are the rules?
Okay, Reese, since the Vikes didn't have a game this week and our buds, they didn't play, they're getting tuned up. They're getting ready
Oh yeah,
to hit the BCIHL schedule. Well,
I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger walking out of the gym, the
of the
training
Vikes gym.
facility in E&H complex. Yeah.
Okay, so the Vikes are calling on the Terminator
Yep.
for the
Nate
season.
Stewart. Right. And you
Well, since the
spotted.
Vikes don't have a game, I thought we'd maybe play one or two of our own, see how they go. The first game, Reese, this is how I'm going to play. Are you ready to be the first contestant?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
super ready.
Okay, this game is called Love to See It or Don't Love to See It. Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a scenario, a statement to take about the BCIHL, and I
Right.
want you to tell me, say either you love to see it and why, or you don't love to see it and why.
Okay. All right.
Got it?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, here
Yes.
we go. First one. The Okanagan Lakers, they take the Mariners to overtime
All
down in
right.
Kelowna. So they're pushing the Mariners hard. And the Lakers, they're no joke. They're going to play the Mariners tough. They're going to play the Vikes tough. Means so far, it looks like there's 4 good teams at least in this league. Love to see it or don't love to see it?
I think I love to see it because I mean, the biggest reason that stands out to me is because there is a lot of freshmen on the UVic team. So if this season is going to be the season that, is very close, very competitive, that's just going to kind of create a beast, right? It's going to really prepare them well. It's kind of like the Habs when they made the playoffs. I think it was like 2019 or 2018 when they shouldn't have. They were a horrible team, but they had a lot of youth. And, because they were able to use their youth, it led to the Stanley Cup final a couple years later. So that's what I kind of expect with this UVic team. Not that they're rebuilding. They definitely want to go for, the title, but just the sheer fact there's a lot of young players on that team. And I think if it's a competitive league this year and it's hard to, and it's going to be, teams flying in and out of the first and second place. And, I think it's a good thing. Is it a scary thing? So I guess if you look at it on the other side of the coin, you could say you hate to see it because it's just going to be that much harder, right? Like last year, it was a
Yeah.
very one-sided league, so you knew who your target was. But then, the Mariners go in and they beat them, right? When they were never beaten last season. So it's, I'm going to have to go with you love to see it. It's good
Nice.
for the freshmen.
Thank you very much. Number 2. Okay, the Mariners, the power forward, shall we call them, the Palmer,
Yeah.
and Tires. They combine Dunlop.
Yeah.
5 goals and 4 assists against SFU. So
Right.
these guys are racking them up. Palmer led the BCIHL last season in points with 18. He's got half that already. And
Yeah.
they just load up the SFU. So
Yeah.
tell me, because we thought SFU was invincible. These guys
We
take
did.
it to them. You love to
Yeah.
see it or don't love to see it?
You love to see it because all that tells me as a UVic
All
fan
right.
is that if they can put that kind of firepower as an individual on SFU, then I feel like there's a couple guys on UVic that could do the exact same thing. Maybe not 4 goals in the game, maybe not a combined 5 goals and 4 assists, maybe more. I mean, you never know. But not that I'm saying that. I'm just saying if that's what if we don't have a good idea, right? Because I guess now we have a better idea of what the Mariners are, but we got a decent idea of who the Mariners were, at least their personnel, at least their individual skill, through the exhibition series. So that should give us a good indicator of how good they're going to be. And if they put that kind of beating on SFU, well, all that tells me is that maybe UVic can do the same thing. So I'm going to have to go with you love to see it.
Nice. Okay, let's play one more round of this game. Now let's see if I can figure this one out. SFU
Okay.
goes 0 for 6 on the power play, like I mentioned. They go
Wow.
0 for 6 against the Mariners.
Right.
Okay, this one's really easy. The Vikes had some stuff going on the
Right.
power play against the Mariners.
Yes.
And you know me, I never keep my mouth shut about the special teams, right? I think it's going to be a big part of the Vikes season.
Right.
SFU goes 0 for 6 on the power play versus the Mariners. Love to see it or don't love to see it?
You love to see it. And it's kind of going off of what I just said about the previous one, is that all that tells you is there's a weakness there. There's something not clicking. I mean, again, it could be a bad game. I could eat my words in a week or two, but the point is maybe we're seeing a little bit of the holes that could be accumulating from just a great season, right? If you're coming off a great season, there's going to be a little bit of wear and tear, right? So maybe that's what we're seeing. We're seeing cracks in the game, in the Red Leafs game. So if that's true, again, all I say as a UVic play-by-play broadcaster, that's a good thing. You love to see it.
Nice. Well, thank you, Reese. How did the game go for you? Pretty good debut?
Which game?
I love to see it. Don't love to see it.
Oh. You know what? Okay, good point. Wow. God, my brain sucks. I think you love to see it because it's just bringing more competitiveness. It's just bringing more shock, right? More controversy, more narratives getting destroyed just by unexpected results happening, right? And I mean, I'm sure there's many intangibles that went into the game. If we were able to get any of the people we asked for an interview today, we asked a lot of people. I want to let the fans know that. So don't blame us. We asked a lot, but unfortunately, I guess people are busy. They got to get prepared. I mean, it's a big season, right? They got to prepare. So
these guys are focused. These guys are focused on the task, and you love to see that.
I think I said every one of them you love to see it, except the first one's a little conditional because you can look at it 2 ways. But I guess, I love to see everything you've mentioned.
All right. Well, we're going to keep on in the corners here. We'll keep some games going throughout the season. And why don't Reese, before we call it for this episode or whatever, you want to take us around the BCIHL, what's happening or what's coming up? What's going on with the Vikes?
All right. Well, finally, the wait is over for Vikes hockey fans around the globe. from Argentina to Hong Kong, from Kenya to Newmarket, Ontario, from I'm done.
You name it.
Friday, October Friday, October 7th, UVic faces off against the Okanagan Lakers. So that'll be the interesting combination. I mean, that's why you had to bring up the Lakers, trip to overtime with clearly the strong Mariners, which tells us something, right? So that'll be exciting to look forward to. And then on Saturday, we meet up with the SFU. I mean, UVic does not get a break. They do not. They're not given. I mean, well,
Nope.
they are given a break. Sorry, I'm wrong. They get a week off, but to prepare to play against two really good teams. So yeah, that's I hope they're working hard. I hope the strength and conditioning coach got his paychecks worth. Yeah, and then after that, the Logan Lake Miners are facing off against the Lakers. So the Lakers get one little day in between. Oh no, they face off right that same day. Okay, cool. So right at the same time, right as we're watching the UVic versus SFU game, there'll be a Logan Lake game just to see what they look like for the season. That'll be interesting, right? So
Yep.
yeah,
I saw that the Miners, Logan Lake Miners, they played the Lakers pretty evenly, pretty tough in the preseason. So
okay,
the Lakers, I think they beat them 4-3, or so the Miners are going to hang tough too. Kind of with the rest of these teams.
right.
Now, Reese, they're going in to see the Lakers. Anything from this is my first year with the Vikes. Anything from last year about the Lakers, this year's version of the Vikes? What are the one or two things you're going to be looking for this weekend from the Vikes road trip? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, you know what? I think you got to beat them in regulation. Um, you know, they have already a point from the overtime loss against the Mariners. So those points are going to be, I mean, it's a short season, right? So every point matters. So I think the Vikes really got to show up for that game. The SFU game is going to be tough. It's going to be a mountain to climb. So you might, if you wanted to compare the two, you might want to take a lot of preparation from the Okanagan game just to prepare for the SFU game, because that is a big game. That's obviously still the team to beat. Although the Mariners put a beating on them, it's still the team to beat. And since if it's going to be tough, it's a doubleheader, right? So they're going to have to make some changes to lineup. They're going to have to get creative, and that's going to be I'm sure that'll have an unexpected result too, just going off of how everything's went.
Yeah, and SFU is going to be the first team that we're going to see at home down at the Ian Stewart for the Vikes. So we're going to have a couple games against SFU here, are the Vikes. I kind of want to look and see how the Vikes defense fare against the Red Leafs.
The Leafs.
The Leafs, are they going to jump up and use some of their speed? I just, from what I saw one game of SFU, the Vikes, I think, compare well to them.
Ooh.
And they look like similar styles of team. So let's see how that kind of develops over the season. Is it true or not? Just an ongoing theory we have here on In the Corners with Reese and Matt.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? That's an interesting contention. We'll have to see.
You got it.
I mean, it's going to be hard to gauge whether our predictions are going to fall short or if our predictions are just going to go exactly the way I thought. I mean, I didn't expect this from the Mariners. I thought they were going to have, I did think they were going to have a tough go of it, but it's not looking like that. Again, it's only been 1 week, but they just shock the league, and we hope for more shocking things to result in this league, because it's a good group of teams, and I definitely think that'll bring a little bit more attention to the teams individually and get those arenas packed for the playoffs come the spring.
Oh yes, for sure. Yeah. Good job, Mariners. Good job, everybody. But we miss you, Vikes. You got your week off now. We'll be looking forward to them for sure. We'll be looking forward to seeing some of the Vikes out there, Bentham and Sweeney, Morrison. Give some shout outs to some of the talented players, Voss, and a couple favorites on the show here, Benger and Kirsten, all the Vikes classics. So,
Yeah.
you know, we won't have a show until the Vikes get on the road. So we're going to wish all these guys a good luck. Stay
Yep.
healthy, get in the corners, do
Yes.
it up, do your thing. Am
And
I
so
right?
are we back in the broadcast booth on Saturday?
I think we have a couple more weeks off.
Oh, okay. These are
That,
all away
like you
games?
said, yeah, it goes
Okay.
Kelowna
Okay.
or it goes Lakers, SFU. Then the fall is a one-off. I think it might be Logan Lake or it's somebody away. You know,
Okay.
I'm going to be wearing a Halloween costume pretty much next time we're in the broadcast booth.
Wow.
But I'm
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna be wearing a suit of a of a I don't know. I don't know. I haven't thought of a Halloween costume. It's actually a little bit of a problem. Like
yep.
nothing is coming to mind. I mean, it's got to be a couple because me and the old lady there are gonna have to wear something. So we don't know what to wear. It's been a tough one. Usually we have that sorted out by early summer because Halloween's my favorite holiday. I love it. I love the
Yes, I
whole.
love it too. My favorite too. How about that? So give me your favorite recent costume that went over well that you
Um,
did.
well, last year we did the very basic and very mundane and very predictable and very basic. I'm going to say it one more time. The Purge characters where you wear the mask and the blood and then the shirt with the blood and it looked good. It was cool. And then in high school, I think grade 11, we did mobsters and we looked like 1920s or like
That's
1930s
fun.
mobsters. And it was 1930s mobsters. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it looked pretty good. But yeah, I was Jack the Ripper in as a kid, and that was a very well done costume. It looked great. So yeah,
Way to
that's the
go,
main one.
Reese.
Yeah.
Last year I was, well, I'm always either Hulk or Frankenstein.
Oh
So,
yeah.
or not always, but those are my top two. Last year I won a contest as Frankenstein. I was the
No
only
way.
one to dress up and I came home with the prize. So,
Nice. And no one else dressed up. That is sounds like a miserable, sad group of people. That is sad. They should have been put in a pot.
well, when I put my mind to something, if I'm going to go into the corners, I want to forecheck
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, you got to be like
Like if
Brendan
I'm
Gallagher in the corners and dress as like a foot, like make your whole body a foot, like you got to get creative.
Brendan Gallagher, that's the
Yeah.
Blake Bentham of the Vikes or the Voss or
Yeah,
the
for sure, for sure.
Durance.
Yeah.
Connor Nolan, maybe a little bit of a
Her Mary, I'd
penalty
say too.
killer. Or
Yeah.
Mary, nice. Just the heart and soul are going to scare the crap out of teams Halloween
Yes.
and all season long in the BCIHL.
Yes.
With these results, uh, with SFU getting knocked off, there might be some results that scare the crap out of us too, but let's hang in there, get in the corners. It's all about that pressure that just lasts and you just get the scoring
Yes.
chances. And we're going to celebrate with the Vikes soon,
Yep.
starting this weekend.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the third episode of In the Corners. It's been a pre-spooky one. It's not the spookiest because we're getting spookier as the weeks go on. We're just gonna come dead one day on this. We're just gonna be dead. That's how scary it's gonna get.
Yep.
So yeah, tune into an episode next week where we're gonna cover the two UVic regular season games, not the home opener, but the big games, the first two games. Exciting times. And yeah, was there anything else you wanted to add there, Matt?
No, it's been a scream, Reese. Go get them, BCIHL. Go get them, Vikes.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Take it easy, ladies and gentlemen.